that again, and wrap them potatoes in a little mud, put them in the fire, and you cook corn and tomato or potatoes and
you can get out there and get them carp this time of the year and wrap them in mud, and when they get done cooking, you throw the fish away, eat the mud. It's pretty good.
I've been educated on that, Ronnie. Go down there in that good clean creek. I ain't telling where because that's where I'm going. And you pick that carp up, you hang him up on a tree and cut about 2 inches of his tail off and let him flop himself to death. Then you've only got a little bit of dark spot on one side. Cut that out and throw it away, and I fed some guys a big platter of carp. And they said that's some of the best bass they'd ever eaten.
Well, you tortured him till he's tender.
No, you just what you do is you hang him up, bleed him out. A carp is a bloody fish. You hang him up, bleed him out, and then you take him up and fillet him out, and you cut that one little little dark streak out of the one side, and the other side is.
Well, I've eat carp that was real good, and I've eat some that wasn't fit to eat, and I don't know what the difference in the way they're fixed, but you're right. They're okay if you know how you're fixing them. I just never did get the technique down. Can you do anything with a drum?
Some of the best that you get.
Well, how do you fix them? Mine's always like rubber.
Well, now I took them drums and I fixed some of these guys coming through a holler. We want to mess with them good bass. I had them big drums flayed out, and I took them out like on Saturday night, and I threw me a bunch of vinegar in the bowl and some salt, and I set them in the refrigerator till tomorrow morning, washed the salt and the vinegar off of them. I guarantee you that you can't tell, or another thing you put.
That was ceviche.
Is throw a bunch of lemon juice and salt in them.
I think that vinegar and salt, when they used to get the wild taste out of meat.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think Grandma used to do that with wild meat.
Do you know what ceviche is?
I give up.
Well, it's raw fish, and you cook it by putting lemon juice on it. And it actually cooks the meat, not with heat, but the acid will cook the meat. It's a fancy dish. They put ceviche in with certain vegetables and olive oil and stuff, and get $20 for a plate full of it.
Well, I know you can take up
Well, don't tell our school board about that. They'll go down to Nashville and order that at $100 a plate.
Well, in any case, them drum and carp are just as good a fish as there is on the lake if you make sure that you've got plenty of vinegar or lemon juice on them. Carp or drum, either one. I guarantee you, if I fed you something right now, I don't have any, but if I fed you a big platter of drum that has been treated in some good lemon juice and salt, and wash it off and jerk it through some buttermilk and throw it in the bag, shake it up a little bit with a little salt, pepper, and flour, and a light touch of meal, and throw it in a good hot frying pan.
You got to fry it with gas, don't you?
Yeah, you fry it with gas, but you use some, if you get it.
Get some of that flavored gas, fish flavored, drum flavored gas.
Yeah, that's the way to do that. But now, them fish, I was raised in a poor neighborhood, and that's, you learn what to do to certain things.
Digger's raised on the other side of the same hill I was raised on.
That's just a hill between us.
Yeah.
You know, people used to know how to survive, but you know, they could make food out of about anything.
And my mother always had plenty of sage and red pepper, and people today that used say something about a groundhog, they turn up their nose.
My grandma used to have more stuff hanging on her porch, all kinds of dried seedlings and things that she'd put in a pot to make stuff taste better.
Groundhog is good. I hate cleaning them. I'd rather clean 2 horses as 1 groundhog.
A little mess is clean, but they fine eating if you get you one of them old big black bread pans, throw you a big sweet potato or 2 up alongside of it, and throw the red pepper and stuff to it, and a little handful of sage.
Groundhog's the only thing in my life that I couldn't eat the same day I cleaned it. I have to get the memory a little stale before I can stand to eat the meat, but it tastes good.
Well, a groundhog, people turn up their nose to the groundhog.
You know, a groundhog is a vegetarian. They eat about 1.5 tons, 2 tons of hay a year, I think. And I had a cousin up in Kentucky, had a nice farm up there outside Somerset. And he built this really nice barn, had a brand new $60,000 tractor in it, and he was storing a lot of hay in there. Well, groundhogs dug holes on each side of his barn. He thought he could pour gas in one side and have somebody with a shotgun waiting on the other side, and he'd light that gas, and they'd run them groundhogs.
Do you have any insurance on his tractor?
Well, he didn't know them groundhogs burrowed right up under that hay in the barn, and he set the hay on fire. It burned his barn down, his tractor, and the insurance company did not want to pay because it was arson. He had set the fire.
My daddy.
But they finally agreed to pay him about 25%.
My daddy told me that one time when he was growing up, there was these 2 thugs, and there was a stray dog come through. And instead of just running it off or feeding it and hauling it off or shooting it, they set it on fire and laughed about it. And when they set the dog on fire, it run in the house and got under the bed and burnt the house down.
I bet that took a little bit of the fun out of it.
Yeah, I guess it did. The dog was dead, but they was sleeping on the ground that night.
Well,
That's what you call poetic justice.
I reckon it is.
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of stuff, gentlemen, that we're going to have to learn to eat, because this economy, I don't got to learn to eat. I've been eating it all my life, but
Have you ever heard of, this is sort of on the humorous side, tragic side of famine. You've heard of Jonathan Swift.
yeah.
He was an Irishman, and he was a critique of English culture, and probably one of the greatest satirists.
He's one who took old Gulliver on that trip, wasn't he?
He wrote a book about Gulliver's travels, made fun of everything about English culture, but he wrote a poem about how English aristocrats during the famine in Ireland, and there was a lot of English live there, how much they loved year old Irish babies. And even in this poem, he told how they cooked them. And,
Ain't
and
too
that was
humorous.
one of their favorite dishes. Of course, he was being satirical, and him being Irish, any propaganda against the English would be good propaganda for them. But yeah, desperate times call for desperate measures, and Lord, if them trucks, if the economy collapses, or them trucks quit hauling food to Walmart, Food City, and Food Line, and places like that, what are we going to do?
Well,
I'll tell you what, them raccoons and groundhogs ain't going to last long. You know, maybe long enough. People that's smart enough, they might last long enough till government gets its act together.
when I was a boy, you could go plumb back here in these mountains with good dogs, and you might get one coon. But the today I see them run across the road out here in the country, anywhere that Fort Ronnie's house, and anywhere you see a coon run across the road.
Did you ever see a wild turkey when you was growing up, Digger?
No, we eat them.
You saw wild turkeys?
Yeah, we seen two that come through my neighborhood, and we eat them.
Oh, well, they must have, when you was a kid,
Yeah,
I never did see one growing up, and beavers, I never saw there'd ever be a beaver in the neighborhood, and squirrels and rabbits wasn't too plentiful. And deer was, you didn't see no deer back then either. One or two.
because they eat them.
Yeah, I know they did.
And so there's several things that a man might need to learn to live on here with this economy. But they got a little bit of update stuff there that.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a study was done on unemployment, and we have over 100 million adults. These are 18 and older, out of work now. Now, the government only counts those who go down and sign up at the employment office. And so many people quit signing up, and so many people dropped off unemployment. They don't count them. But I would say right now, the Depression today, we have more people unemployed than we had in the 1930s.
Well, we got more people drawing checks than we got paying taxes.
We got more people drawing out of the public treasury than are paying taxes.
That is a true fact.
And if you count the number of people employed by all levels of government, we're talking teachers, utility companies, cities, counties, state, federal government. There ain't much of a private sector left in this country.
The government is the biggest in the world. The federal government is the biggest in the world for employment. And
I was working out in Kansas City in the mid-90s when they made the announcement out there that government employees outnumbered the number of private employees in the city of Kansas City.
well,
And you know,
Well, that's the same in Campbell County.
Years ago,
School system's the biggest employer in the county.
years
and
ago.
if you had the city and the county employees and the Follett Utilities, Jellicoe Utilities, Carroll, Jacksboro Utilities, if you had, and all these employees to that, they probably outnumber the number of private employees.
they outnumber the people. And if you get out here on this highway, I used to get out there on the highway. That's where I got my money to do my first business. I get up there on that highway about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it looked like the town, the county, had shipped everybody out, and they was all leaving. The same thing happened overnight. And I got enough money outside the county to start me a little business, and I've been at that now for some time. And so it's easy to see that we don't have much of going here. In Campbell County, we don't have anything going. And now A&S is closed, and Lincoln Brass closed, and so they're,
We ain't making body armor anymore.
no, that's, so everything is closed, so the only thing.
Even the theater's closed.
Yeah, the theater closed. If you want to go see a obscene movie, why, you have to go to another county because.
No, you can go up on top of the mountain.
And Mayor Stanfield's doing everything he can to run off transmission businesses.
Yep, we've got one,
I'd say he ain't no friend of them gas merchants.
well now, I'm still in the business, I've been the gas fuel business since 1980.
You didn't have any problem increasing your storage anytime, did you?
I sure did.
Okay.
I've been got me a storage increase. And, so, I've always told her that if a town, let's say, ordinance, that you couldn't have but 1,000 gallons.
You know, they all run to promote, you know, they claim they're gonna promote business, help business, recruit business. And all they do is hinder business. And then they pass codes. You know, why don't somebody go through that code book and figure out what codes they've got that's hindering local business and get rid of them codes?
Well,
Because them codes don't do any good. Why would they have a code against you expanding your business? Or a code against Mr. Inman expanding his transmission business?
Inman is about the most experienced transmission man, and I'd say that he's the most experienced transmission man in Campbell County.
He's an asset to the community, and it's like they don't see it. They would rather destroy him and his business as to let him grow. You know, they should be bending over backwards to help him instead of doing everything they can to hinder his business. I don't understand that. You know.
Well, there's some people who is wanting that corner. They want that big property.
Is that what that's all about?
You know, if they can starve him out and run him out, why you'll see a transmission shop come down. The rest of that where he's trying to build, you'll see buildings stretched over across it too.
And they probably won't even bother to core drill.
No, it's already been core drilled. Everyone had that core drill a long time ago.
You don't have to core drill if you know how to build a foundation anyway.
They build bridges, don't they?
Yeah.
Yep. Sure do, they build bridges. Well,
That's absolutely a brilliant point.
you know, if we're gonna pass, a good resolution or something might be to pass one that says that before you run for political office, that you must be in a business, run a business, or something like that successfully for a period of time before you can become a career politician. And that's what we've got right now is career politicians.
No, you got one or two politicians that's been well into the business.
That's what I'm talking about. People that have been into business and they can understand. A person that's not been in business can't understand the paperwork and all the unforeseen things that go along with it that nobody ever thinks about.
You remember when George McGovern's motel or hotel went bankrupt after he'd retired from Senate and his hotel went bankrupt, and he said that if he'd have known how onerous some of those regulations were back when he was helping pass them, he might have had a different opinion of some of them.
Yeah.
You got a good thing going there, and like I say, I've got all kinds of tanks for $35 and then full, and I sold a couple this morning, and I've sold them right along. People they start dragging out their grills, and they find out they go down to the big stores and they buy one, and then they want to take that new tank off of it and trade them a good used tank about half full of gas. And the majority of them is learning to come by my place with their new tank and leave with a tank full of gas. So that's the way things work around my place.
Down there in the middle of the road, Sawmill Holler.
Right in the middle of my stop sign. I got to get on somebody about my stop sign. I'd be a stop sign. I don't know if I ever told this.
It keeps getting knocked down, don't it?
It got turned around.
Oh.
Where you'd think that it was on Ryder Lane, but really, the people on Ellison Road is still coming down there and sliding around that corner. Because the stop sign is turned to where when you come up the holler, if any of you have an occasion, just take a look at my stop sign, and it looks like it's trying to stop Ryder Lane. But anyway, you folks got a good thing going there.
Thank you, sir. Call us again next week.
Okay, thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you.
You know, if you come down there that there misplaced stop sign and have a wreck and need a ride to the hospital, you need to call this your outfit that is not county supported, like you need to use Vital Care of Campbell County Medical Transport Service. Got a ventilator on board in case you need some serious breathing while you're going somewhere. They'll take you to hospital, or take you home from hospital, or take you from one facility to another. I'm glad to have your business. Take almost any insurance you can come up with, and they don't take your tax money along the way. 562-9370, 40 years experience with a head honcho and got a good crew helping him. They know what they're doing, and the main thing is, if they don't satisfy you, they don't take any of your money anymore. If you get dissatisfied with the government ambulance service, they still get your money even if you don't go back no more. So 562-9370 and John Bond appreciate your business, and we appreciate you patronizing him. We got a little bit of time left, fellas. Tell them a lie. Another lie.
This Whole Lot Press Journal Leader has a story in here about